Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty and today we're exploring a modern folk art motif layout from the Pattern Maker canvas, Folk Art Florals Series. Why do I keep making these names up that are so hard to say? Folk Art Florals. Anyway, this template is all about creating bold, eye-catching patterns using simple symmetry placement tricks. I'll walk you through using the diamond method and show you how to play with all the floral and critter stamps to make the design completely your own. Grab the free colour palette from the Pattern Maker's Toolkit and let's get started. So let's hide this layer. And this one, we're going to go a bit more freestyle with this compared to the other kind of template that we had that had things lined up in rows, where I showed you a technique for lining things up perfectly. Because this is a bit more kind of mix and match, we can go a bit more freestyle with this, and we're just going to line these up visually by eye. You can pick any motifs you like for these. You can draw your own freehand flowers over the top. You can mix and match the bugs and flowers in these and draw your own leaf shapes. And this one is a really fun one to play around with. I'm gonna open our sketch folder, start on the draw here first, and I'm gonna begin by getting everything in place where I want it to be, because we'll use that as a reference when we build our pattern, and then we'll draw the motifs with some separate stamps which we can use the symmetry tool for. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm just going to get this, use that for these flowers. I think these 3 circles, black circles on their own, I'm going to do as flower motifs. Then the 2 green ones, I'm going to make bugs, and I think we'll use this little guy here. And I'm probably going to flip this one. So I'll have him upside down. Then use this flower for these 2. This one for these kind of tulip shapes. I'll put this on a layer above so I can move it around a bit. And then just this what we need to do now. Then I'll pinch and merge those 4 motifs together, duplicate that, flip it horizontally and use that to put in place over here. And then I'm just going to draw some freehand leaf shapes in these. Duplicate that. And we'll use that to fill this one, but we can flip it horizontally and vertically. And then add a layer, we can draw one in here and use that to fill these 2 as well. So we could flip it horizontally, maybe vertically as well to go in there. And then put one up in there as well. So that's all of the motifs laid out, and we'll use this as a reference when we're putting stuff together. So we can pinch all of these down with the sketch diamond and we'll put these in place around the outside now. Turn snapping and magnetics on and snap this into each of the corners, checking you've got those orange lines there. Then pinch the top 4 together, invert the colours on those, and then we can see the blue ones are the ones we'll make with by duplicating, and these orange ones are the ones that we need to put into our pattern folder. So let's reduce the opacity on this layer and maybe on the template as well. Open up our pattern folder and we'll start on layer 1, and let's make this symmetrical. So go up to your canvas actions, turn the drawing guide on, edit the drawing guide, go to symmetry, and we want vertical symmetry at this point. And let's start with this motif in the middle. So I'm just going to draw out each of the motifs, keeping each colour on a separate layer. And don't forget to turn Drawing Assist on and off as you need it. I'm also going to add layers above where I use the thinner brush to do some little extra details in. Then I'm going to group those together, and each motif is going to go in a separate group for this pattern. Next we'll work on this flower. I'm going to have Drawing Assist on this layer for doing these parts. Then I'm going to turn Drawing Assist off and draw in the rest of the leaves without the symmetry tool on. And we can group that one and move on to this one now. I'm going to grab the colour shifter dot, use pink and orange together, sorry, pink and yellow together for this one. And then I'm going to do some dots down here in a couple of different sizes. Then that one's ready to group up. Then we've just got this one in the middle left to do. And this one will be freehand, not with Drawing Assist. And I think I'm going to be able to draw it best if I turn it this way around. Add a layer over the top. Make this one a clipping mask, and then I'm just going to draw a curvy line down the middle there, and then just take it back around and join it up, and then you can use colour fill to fill that in. So that's our middle motifs done and grouped up. Let's move on and do these ones now. So we need to adjust the symmetry for this. So go up to our canvas and edit drawing guide and zoom in and find this middle dot there and drag that over to, we'll work on this flower first, drag it so it lines up roughly with the middle of your flower there. And then we can draw this flower in. So turn on Drawing Assist, and we'll start with the stems for this one. And then I'm also going to do these bits around the outside green. Don't worry if these don't completely 100% match up on either side from where you stamp the motif. If it's kind of too much off, then you might want to go back and restamp this again. But as long as you stick to working off one side or the other, the finished bit will be symmetrical, and it doesn't matter if it's like they're a little bit off with the sketch underneath. Threshold is too high on that one. Just colour those in. Then we're going to add a layer and add the different parts of the flower in here. I'm going to change the blend mode on the sketch to multiply so I can see it over the top of what I'm drawing. I'm adding a layer in between here, and I'm going to use what will eventually be the background colour to add a bit of separation line between the pink and the orange so that it has a little bit more contrast. So this cream colour is what I'm going to use for the background eventually. So now we can group that flower together. This flower is the next one that we have to do, and it would be easier to actually make this in the middle of the canvas. So what I'm going to do is go back up to my sketch group. I'll turn these off for now, add a layer, and I'm just going to stamp one of those flowers and centre it on the canvas. So we'll turn off the pattern group, turn off everything else so we can centre this on the canvas, because it's going to be easier to use the radial symmetry more accurately if that's in the middle. Let's add a layer above the pattern group, and then we'll put this back in a moment. Go up to our canvas actions, go to edit drawing guide, tap on symmetry options and go to radial, and then we can work from the middle of the canvas there. Make sure you've got drawing assist on for this layer, and then we can draw this flower using the radial drawing assist. Then I'm going to use the colour shifter dot to do a few little spots and dots in around here. Then we can group that and then put that into our pattern group. Turn that back on, turn our sketch layout back on, then it's just this one and those diagonal leaves we have to draw next. So let's adjust the drawing guide for this. We want it vertical symmetry, and we want to center it on this flower here. So add a layer, and we can put drawing assist on for this and draw this flower here now. Again, I'm using the same colour that I'll be using for the background colour here to just add a bit of separation between the pink and the yellow. It's a good trick to use when you want two colours next to each other but there's not a whole lot of contrast with them, is to just put like some kind of separation between them. So just these bits to do now. Group those together. going to add a layer above the leaves and put a contrast colour like we did with those. So make it a clipping mask. Turn Drawing Assist on for this. And I'm going to start here. Then join it up, and then we can colour drop that. I'm going to turn the sketch off to do this so I can see a bit better. Actually, I can see there that I could tidy that up a little bit. Let's do that first. I think perhaps this one needs doing as well. There we go. Back onto this one. Can edit the line and just move that to wherever looks good. Then join up the shape and fill that in. There we go. Put the sketch back on, and it's just this little leaf here to do now. So that's all the motifs drawn for this. Hopefully you've got enough layers to have all those in separate groups. If not, you could come out into the gallery, duplicate this canvas at any point. So you've got group copies in one canvas, and then copy flattened copies into another working copy if you find you're running out of layers. What I'm going to do in this one is duplicate and flatten a copy of all the groups, apart from the leaves, which I'm going to recolour as I go. So I'll leave those till last, but all of the other ones I'm going to duplicate and flatten a copy. Then we'll bring all of these up to the top, and then the leaves, before I flatten them, I'm going to recolour them. So I'll duplicate this one. I'm going to alpha lock both these layers, and I think I'll make the bottom layer different pink, and the top layer will make yellow, and then I can flatten that. And then this one will make this yellow, and we need one more copy of that, so we can flatten that one. And then what we can do with these is start placing these around the canvas. So let's do this leaf first. So we're going to tap transform, and we're going to turn snapping and magnetics off for this, and this one we can just do freehand. So we need to flip this one vertically and horizontally and just line it up with what we have in the template below. Then we can do this flower here. We've already got the copy underneath, so we can just move this one. Then we can do this flower now. So if we move this one over to there, we can move that one in the middle. If we needed to edit it, we could always go back and recenter it, but we'll just move this whole group. And then this one we can duplicate and put down there. Those two can be flattened together, they don't need to take up two separate layers. This little bug can go down there. This one we need to flip horizontally to put over here. And then it's just these diagonal leaves we need to do now. So that is all the motifs laid out in the pan, and we can now build out the tile with this. If you're running short on layers, which you may well be at this point, come out into your gallery. Let's duplicate this canvas and we'll work with a flattened copy. So you can hide your sketch and just tap on your whole pattern group and tap flatten. Let's turn the drawing guide off. Make our background colour this colour, which is the same as the colour we've added for the spacing. Let's bring this up here and turn that off. Now we can add a mark in each of these corners and then build this out this way. Make sure you've got snapping and magnetics on though. So we snap it into each of the corners like that. Then you can pinch the top 4 together, erase your marks from the middle, and then on the one underneath, take those corner marks back off again. Pinch those together. Let's swipe down with 3 fingers and copy all. Bring it up to the top here and paste. Then we can add a layer underneath, fill it with a contrasting colour. Tap transform, and let's snap this up into the middle. Check that those motifs are all lined up okay there. Pinch those together, duplicate, and then check that this seam looks okay. There we go, and that's this pattern finished. Don't forget you can share your finished designs over in the community tab. I can't wait to see what you make. Templates and stamp brushes are available in my Etsy store, and the free colour palette plus some other floral layout templates are over in the Pattern Maker's Toolkit. The Pattern Maker's Toolkit is a creative space for your pattern making journey, filled with brushes, palettes and resources to follow along and stay inspired. It's free to join, and the monthly email is the only place to get your hands on the free stamp brush sets to follow along with the cozy colouring time lapses this year. You'll also get 10% off all the premium templates in my Etsy store, early access to some YouTube tutorials, plus all the free brushes, palettes, templates and mock-ups in the resource library. Think of it as your monthly dose of colour, fun and pattern making chaos. If you'd like to join, just follow the link in the description. That's all from me this week. Thank you for watching, have fun, stay creative, and I will see you soon.